Good morning, it's Mark Leonard with your video thought for the day. Well, as you might be able to see out the window, I'm still in my hotel room in Cleveland, and I am trying before I head out for my court stuff to have a chance to finish what I started yesterday. So if you've not seen yesterday's video thought for the day, I urge you to find it on YouTube and watch it. I've entitled it Dealing with Life's Tragedies, Greatest Tragedies. Part 1, and I spoke about an issue that I've tried to avoid, honestly, for a long time. People have asked for these videos on my thoughts about how to handle the death of a child, and not having experienced it, I don't really know. It's like me trying to explain how to handle being pregnant. It's just not anything that's happened at this point in my life. And so I don't understand that aspect of life. So I can't speak to it with empathy, with putting myself in others people's shoes. And I don't know how I would react. But it doesn't mean that I don't have some thoughts on it. And that's what I sought to share yesterday, but wasn't able to finish. And so I thought today I would try to finish some of these thoughts. Yesterday I spoke about a Greek word, hupomone, which is often translated endure or persevere. And this idea, actually I guess the verb would be hupomeno for persevere, but perseverance or endurance there. But oftentimes, we need to understand that we're not enduring with no end in sight. And don't get me wrong, you'll never get over, in my opinion, the loss of a child. Heavens, my father died over 17 years ago, and I'm still not over that. You know, I grieve the loss of my father. But within the framework of this, I think it's so important for us to realize that when God calls us to persevere and he recognizes that we grieve, that's not the end. It doesn't stop with grief. That even as you grieve knowing the character of God as one who is full of compassion and full of mercy, as James says. And so Paul is able to write about this in Romans 5. And Paul says that hupomone, just enduring, walking faithfully even during the worst times of life, walking faithfully will produce in us a character. Now, that does not mean that, oh, God is doing this because he wants you to have character. No, it does mean that God will not leave you barren even as you lose an adult child or a young child or lose anything of value that has true, eternal, meaningful value to God. As you endure, as you persevere through the difficulties of this life, God is able to use that to produce in you character. Character is an inner strength, a witness, a testimony that God is vibrant and alive and working and taking care of and nurturing even us when we're hurting. And so endurance produces this because we have that testimony. One of the comments that was put in reply to my part 1 of this video on YouTube was by someone who said that they had lost their daughter over 20 years earlier and appreciated the words of comfort, still misses their daughter. But that comment, that note is one of character that shows that event did not destroy the person, but through endurance, through faithfully walking through that event, God produced in that person something that could testify and encourage others. And that's what this is about. And Paul goes a step further in that Romans 5:4 verse and says, not only will enduring and persevering in the midst of hardship produce in you character, but that character will produce in you a confident reliance and expectation that God will bring things to a good conclusion at the end of it all. So does this make the hurting any less? I don't see how it could. Does this stop the grieving? I don't see how it could. And I don't think that it should. I think this should urge us in the midst of our grief, in the midst of handling life's greatest tragedies, do so in prayer and faithful reliance on God, knowing He's there, knowing the only time the Bible says God cried, Jesus wept, is in response to death. And that was a death where He was going to resurrect Lazarus. So if Jesus weeps over death, it's okay for us to. But know He's weeping with us. And then know that He is the resurrection and the life. And so we're able to grieve not as the world grieves. That's my thoughts. More on perseverance tomorrow, but this is your video thought for the day.